Hello everyone, welcome to SI UK India webinar. Thank you for joining us. We are now live with University College Dublin. Today we have Dr. Benjamin and Dr. Joss with us. They will be taking us through this webinar. We'll answer all the questions after the presentation during the Q&A session. So let's start the webinar. Over to you, Supriya.
Thank you, Yukti. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you for joining our webinar, Data Analysis or Data Science. Which track is right for me? My name is Supriya Sampson, and I am the Regional Manager South Asia for UCD Global Center. Today, along with me in the panel, I have Professor Jos Elking. Jos is an associate professor and head of the school at UCD School of Politics and International Relations. I have Professor Benjamin Elsner. Ben is an assistant professor in the School of Economics. And we have Sohini Timbadia, our current student pursuing Masters in Politics and Data Science. Sohini will share her journey in UCD so far with us. Thank you, the panel, for joining. Now, data analysts and data scientists represent two of the most in-demand, high-paying jobs according to the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report 2023. Data scientists and data analysts are some of the most sought-after jobs in the world. Both share a lot of similar tools, but the type of work that can be quite different. New courses have been developed and have been merged with different topics and different fields to enhance your career. I will now start with Professor Ben, who would share his presentation and will talk about data analytics in the field of economics. The course is available and the career prospects. So over to you, Ben.
Great. Thank you very much. You can see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and I'm very happy to present our new program, MSc Economics and Data Analytics, to you. This program has been launched in September this year, and we've just taken in the first cohort of students. So what is this program about? The program Let me first start by talking a little bit about the tradition of programs we have in UCD, and then it becomes very evident of where things are heading with this new program and many other programs, such as the one that Jos will present in a while. At UCD, so the UCD School of Economics is among the leading schools of economics in Europe. We have top academics, we have top policy advisors, and we have been running very successful master's programs for the last 20 years or so. What does successful mean? It means that we've placed our students very well in careers in industry, in the public sector, in NGOs, also in academia. But also students have been very, very satisfied when they give their feedback. The student satisfaction is very high with our programs. So what do traditional master's programs in economics look like? You are taught a very important skill set, that is economic analysis. So really the analytical way of thinking about the world, and the applications of that to different fields, as you can see here. And you learn a lot of quantitative skills in a branch that we call econometrics, but it's basically a branch of statistics that allow you to really analyze anything in the economy with data. And that skill set has always been very successful in enhancing students' careers. But at the same time, we are constantly in talks with employers to refine our programs and redesign them as we see fit. And one thing that has transpired in the last 10 or so years is a much greater emphasis on data analytics and data science skills. And these are skills that are extremely important in a lot of careers across the spectrum of employment that people take up after graduating. But these are not necessarily skills that we as economists have ourselves and can teach. And so for this new program, we joined forces with the School of Mathematics and Statistics here at UCD. in itself one of the leading schools in Europe in its field. And they have been running for many years a master's in data analytics and also with very successful placements. And what we've done now is we've joined forces and built this new program. So this new program is called MSc Economics and Data Analytics, and it combines the elements of an economics master, so economic analysis and applications to diverse fields, with data analytics tools such as econometrics and causal inference. That's what we've been teaching already for a long time, but also tools such as machine learning, data programming, Bayesian analysis, databases. These are all tools that when you look at job boards such as LinkedIn or Stepstone, you will see that there is a very, very high demand for people with these exact skills. In addition, UCD is not just offering this program, but is offering a whole range of data-focused programs. And so we have become one of the major hubs in Europe for combining social science and data science. What this means is that our students have the choice of many modules from across these programs. So, for example, our colleagues in politics offer text analysis, which is extremely useful, or our colleagues in geography offer GIS programming and spatial analysis with R and Python, which is extremely useful. And there are many other such examples. So this is not an exhaustive list. So in sum, we can offer our students a very, very highly priced skill set that allows them to enter many careers in data analytics and data science. Now, why should you consider coming to us, and who is this for? So first of all, in terms of backgrounds, this program targets two types of students. It targets students who have a background in either economics or other social sciences, such as sociology or political science, as long as it's sufficiently quantitative, or business or finance or commerce. And students in these fields may be interested in learning more data analytics skills. Then if that's you, then that program is for you. We also have students who don't have a background in the fields that I just mentioned, but have a quantitative background in the likes of maths or physics or engineering or computer science, but want to learn more economics. And that program is also for that group of students. What we can offer is we can offer a wide range of modules so that students can specialize in whatever field and techniques they want. We have very strong synergies with the other programs here at UCD. So we have joint events with tech companies. We have joint events with other industry partners. And that obviously gives us a very, very strong advantage in terms of employability of our students. The other thing I would like to mention is Dublin is known as a city that's fun to be in and to live in, but it's also a city where you have employment opportunities literally at your doorstep. So you can see here a picture of what's called the Silicon Docks, where some of the major tech firms in the world have their European headquarters. That's a short bus ride from UCD, and we have very strong links with these companies. What we offer in our study program is, in terms of the study organization, students do one term where they get the basics and they all run through the same curriculum. A second term where they pick and choose from a wide variety of modules. And then in the third term of that 1 year of master's, they have the choice of writing a thesis or doing an internship. Both have their advantages. Internships allow students to enter careers, often directly get a foot in the door in some companies and getting industry experience. And we have some industry partners, actually quite a large number, who advertise their internships to our students, and students can apply for them, or students can simply look for internships on the domestic or international market themselves. Writing a thesis is also something that can be very, very beneficial, in fact, highly beneficial, because it gives students something to show to future employers, right? You've carried out the project yourself. You have something that you can then talk about. You specialized in one particular tool that may be then very, very beneficial for your future employment. So in a nutshell, there are plenty of opportunities. We've created a very, very flexible program, and we're here in a very strong cluster in Dublin. We're very happy to have welcomed this year 14 students from 9 different countries from all parts of the world. And obviously, we're very much looking forward to seeing many more students hopefully coming to UCD. Now, final word from me when it comes to employment opportunities. Obviously, this is a new program, and we can't really send anything or say anything about a track record yet. But if our economics programs and if the data analytics program is anything to go by, the employment opportunities are vast. So this is a selection of industry jobs or industry careers and employers that our past graduates of both programs have gone into. And you can see these are some of the most successful companies in their field. But we've also had students who went into the public sector. We had students who entered PhD programs at very good universities in the likes of London or in the US. And so there is a wide variety of career tracks that this program opens. So I'm very happy to answer any of your questions later in the Q&A session. I'm also available if you just want to email me or jump on a Zoom call. I'm happy to do that. So we're very much looking forward to hopefully welcoming you at UCD, and I will now hand back to Supriya.
Thank you so much, Ben. That was very informative. Now, this is a new area, and actually, when I heard from you that economics combined with data analytics, it has such a vast scope. I'm sure students would have got a new direction to explore and see where their career can go in. And definitely, Ireland is a place where you will find a lot of opportunities in future, and it provides you 2 years of post-study work visa also. So that is a benefit, that you can stay in the country and work for 2 years, and 2 years is a long time to build your rapport with the employer and continue working. So thank you so much for that. I will now move to Jos, who will share more information from his area, which is politics and data science. So over to you, Jos.
Thank you. I forgot to unmute. Thank you, Supriya. So yeah, it's a great pleasure to introduce the Politics and Data Science program to you. We have been running slightly longer than Ben, but it's still a very new program. So I think we are now in the 3rd year or so. And we're very excited about it because it has been attracting a great group of students with a great sort of dynamic. And so it's a very successful program in the kind of students it attracts and the kind of things we achieve. So I'll tell you much more about that. And it builds a little bit on the same ideas that the economics and data analytics program does. It builds on this cross-section between the social science and the data science discipline. It is all within the School of Politics and International Relations, where we have several people that work on data science type methods. And so we provide most of this internally, but it is the same kind of design. A key feature is that, like the economics program, we get students in from different backgrounds. So we have basically split the program into 2 streams, depending on your undergraduate degree. So we get students who have an undergraduate degree in computer science or engineering or statistics, who have very strong quantitative skills, but they don't know so much about politics or social science. That is not their skill. So even though they can share a lot of the modules with the other students in the program, we also want to get a little bit of basic understanding of the social science aspect. So those students, as a core module, are required to take our politics of misinformation module. And those students that come in from sociology or politics or another social science, they go in a stream where as core modules, they get introductory statistics using R, and Python programming, to bring up sort of these basic technical skills that you need if you want to work in any sort of data science field. And then once those core modules are covered, so you have the basic statistical programming skills and you have the basic understanding of politics and social science, then we have a very long list of modules people can choose from. I can't put it on this slide, it's much too long, but it's a wide range. Quantitative text analysis is one of the most common ones, I think, that students take. It's a very data sciencey module. You will appreciate that politics consists of a lot of text. So we often end up studying parliamentary debates or party manifestos or debates on social media that are related to politics. So for all of those kind of data that we want to analyze, we are dealing with text, and we analyze this text in a statistical manner using data science. So quantitative text analysis is probably it's a sort of informal core of the module. Almost everybody takes it, and it's a core skill that you want to get if you do a data science with politics degree. But our school is a very diverse school. So this is one out of something like 15 different master's programs that we have in the school. We have programs around peace and conflict, political development, international relations, gender and politics, and so forth and so forth. So there's all of those programs have their own modules associated with them. And students on the politics and data science program, they can take optional modules from any of those other programs. So you can, if you are primarily interested in, say, studying conflict, but you want to use data analytical modules for this, then you can use this program to get the skills in R and Python programming and text analysis. But you also take modules on maybe Middle East politics or peace and conflict studies, and then you can collect data from those fields and apply those methods to that, and really enrich the field. Which brings me to the group-based project. I don't know if I have a next slide on that. So one module that all the students do is in the second semester is a group-based project. You will be put in groups of 3, 4, maybe 5 students. You will get an individual supervisor for the group. And during the semester, you will collect data, develop the whole project from basic idea to studying the literature, to collecting the data, to analyzing the data, and writing a report. And this is a really excellent way of getting used to how you actually work in a data science job, right? So most data scientists, well, of course, exceptions, but they're not the only people in the company doing this. They work if you work in Google, it's full of data scientists. So you work in teams, you work in groups. And so this idea that you learn how to work in a group and how to get something together, how do you actually organize, who does what, and how do we keep track of all this, and how do we make sure the code works, and so forth and so forth. How can you build on different skills that different people in the group have? That is really good to get the feel for that during your studies. So this group-based project is a really excellent way of doing that. And then over the summer, you write a dissertation. That is a single authored project, often a little bit the same ideas with the group project, but now by yourself with an individual supervisor, where you can delve really deep into whichever topic you're interested in. So here are some examples of these connected politics, as we call them, projects. There's a blog, actually, so you can read up more about any of those projects that have been done so far. But to give you some examples, somebody studied, and I led a group myself last year, where we looked at different experts on Chinese politics, and we collected their blog posts on different international blogs. And then we did quantitative text analysis to see what those experts write about, and looked at their social network, and then see if there's like network effects in how experts perceive Chinese politics. Because if you have strong network effects, we might get really biased opinions on China, really misleading expert information because of this kind of diffusion of opinion. So we studied that. Another group with another supervisor looked at the complexity of speech in Parliament after cameras were introduced in the Parliament. Like did parliamentarians start to speak in a different way, using different kind of language, more accessible language, after their debates ended up on television and everybody could watch them, right? Another group looked at military groups. They looked at ISIS and I think ISIS and Hezbollah, if I'm not mistaken. And they did sentiment analysis, see if they write very positively or very negatively when they talk about resistance and jihad. Or we have deliberative assemblies, and we did analysis on how experts influence these assemblies and how they act at these assemblies. So these are all kinds of different projects, group projects that students did in their connected politics module. And some of them are actually quite successful. The diffusion of opinion paper was presented at the biggest international political science conference. So was the paper on sentiment analysis, which was actually presented by the students themselves in Los Angeles at the conference. The speech complexity paper is published in a peer-reviewed journal. So these are very successful in terms of the quality and the impact that we can achieve, because you combine the expertise of several people that are all very motivated and all interested in analysis. So when you do this data science degree, you get these basic quantitative skills. You get a basic understanding of what different machine learning text analysis modules are. Now generative AI, ChatGPT is of course becoming very popular, and a lot of colleagues are now starting to work with it. So that also becomes a core part of how we teach data science. And you learn to think about sort of social science type questions like the ones you saw on the previous slide, that have to do with how people act in conflict situations, in parliaments, in social media. What kind of language do they use? What kind of things do they do? How do they act? How do people vote in UN assemblies, and so forth and so forth. And we can analyze them using all these different methods. And we get, of course, also a sense of what the limits are and what the ethical issues are around this, right? All these models are only as good as the data that goes in. So there's a lot of things we need to think about in terms of the ethics of using them. Now, this is just a different photo of the same thing that Ben was showing. So it's, of course, not a surprise. I show it because here, right in the middle, is where I live. But this is the Silicon Valley of Europe, it's called, right? This is in Dublin, because it's English speaking, because it's highly educated, because it has a very good IT sector. All these international companies like Facebook and Google and Twitter and Airbnb and so forth, they all put their European headquarters in Dublin. So there's a huge cluster there. And as Supriya was saying, we have a 2-year stay-back visa, which is very long, which is an enormous opportunity to try to get a job at these places, build up a reputation, get a good rapport with your employer, and hope that they will sponsor you then to stay back further. So through those group projects and through the thesis, you can build up the expertise, and we have the links to those companies to get you placed, and you can develop your career at any of those companies. It's a really excellent opportunity. Now, what kind of jobs? I mean, that really varies. You can imagine things like political consultancy around opinion polling or data analysis in relation to politics or public opinion. You can imagine we work a lot with different types of data and textual data. So you can think like a chief information officer type career, right? Like managing information in an organization. It's the kind of thing that you can learn very well with this kind of degree. But more research related jobs. In places like Google, a lot of what their local technical staff in Dublin does is all kinds of text analysis and data analysis for clients. So you think of Google as the website you go to, and you type in use some services, but a lot of what people are here doing in their offices are actually for specific clients, do all kinds of data analysis, and that's the kind of skills that you learn with us. And I think the key is that you become a very nice bridge between the very technically trained people, like the computer scientists and the statisticians, who know everything about data analysis, but can't talk to normal people. And then you have the social scientists who know everything about how people behave and interact and how politics works and how public opinion works, but they don't understand what these data scientists are doing. And you are exactly in the middle. You have the technical skills to understand what these data scientists are doing. You also know a bit about machine learning and programming and data analysis, but you also have a bit of an understanding of how people behave and what these social scientists are talking about. And so you become a really very nice, very fruitful bridge in any kind of data science team that I think will be very powerful. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yoss. That was very informative. And students, we have to understand that whenever there are new courses which are developed, there is definitely a demand from the industry. And that is the reason you see that in political science, always we've heard about being an academic and working or teaching. But this is a new field when you combine with data science and see you can get into consulting, you can get into so many different fields. So yes, there is much to explore. And definitely, when you hear directly from the horse's mouth, it makes a lot of difference. So I would now pass on to our current student, Sohini. Like I introduced, that Sohini is doing her master's in political science with data science. And she will share how she is finding UCD right now and has she adjusted because she joined just in September. So over to you, Sohini.
Yep. Thank you for that, Supriya. So I'll just share a little bit about myself and my background. I started at UCD at the course of Politics and Data Science earlier this September. And prior to that, I've been working for 3 years as a product manager in India. I was mostly working at edtech startups. And before that, my undergraduate was in computer science. So a lot of the questions that I've answered during my time here is, what motivated me for moving from such a exclusively technical space of computer science and product management to choosing a course that blends my technical skills with a political element and a policy element. And my main motivation for that was that I really wanted to figure out how I can use technology for something outside of just working in the tech industry. And what the course at UCD offered me was a space to educate myself about political science and social sciences and policy design, which is something that I've never done before. I haven't really studied social science since grade 10. So I have no experience in like studying it at a higher level. So that's been pretty interesting. And I really loved that experience of um, knowledge building. And I wanted to use those skills and redirect myself and move in a space that actually um, it does live at the intersection of social science and technology. So my plans for next year when I'm looking for job opportunities is to explore roles at NGOs or think tanks, analyst roles and data science roles in those companies and figure out what would be the best fit for me. And also definitely explore some graduate programs because something really cool that I've found out when I was here is that a lot of companies have graduate programs that do span a 2 year course where even if you have no work experience and you just have done a bachelor's and a master's, they're more than willing to hire you and train you and build your skills for the next 2 years. So you really don't need a lot of experience for those roles. Of course, there's an interview process that you need to go through, but you'd find that everywhere. But uh, there are companies like Accenture, Bank of India, KPMG, tech like consulting companies that have those as well. So really, in terms of opportunities, it's been very varied so far. And uh, I've also attended like a few career fairs at UCD, where a lot of these companies come in as well. So if you do join UCD, I would highly recommend like just going to those career fairs because it's just great to meet people and network and just see what's out there because you might have a certain industry or a certain job in mind, but it really does broaden your horizons and opens you up to all of the potential opportunity out there that you could explore. So yeah.
This is so far so good. So you're enjoying it, and I think your
Yes.
exams are also over now, or are they going on?
So I had one exam this trimester for statistics, so which is done. I just have a couple of submissions, like essay submissions left. So just trying to get to that 500 word limit is my goal this week. But yeah, almost towards the end of the trimester for me.
Nice. And you work part-time or you are just dedicatedly working,
Yeah.
studying?
Yes, so I do work part-time. So something kind of unique for me is that the organization that I was working for back in India was willing to have me continue with them on a part-time basis while I was here. So I'm currently still technically working as a product manager for that company. Um, uh, you just have to, deal with the time difference, wake up for 8 a.m. meetings. But it's fun. I still enjoy that work, so I'm happy to do that. But yeah, I just work part-time as a product manager at a not at an ed tech startup anymore, but at a software as a service startup. So yeah.
Excellent. So we've received a lot of questions. So no more PPTs for you students now, and it's all about clearing our queries. So please feel free to put in your questions in the Q&A section, and we'll answer that. So the first question I have received is regarding the curriculum. So usually students who are from a different background, for example, if they want to come into politics and data science, we do take students from political science. So they want to know whether programming and coding knowledge is a must. So yours, if you can answer that.
No, not at all. So the idea is that we get students in from either a social science or a technical background. And so the ones that come from a technical background, they dive into straight away into politics and maybe the quantitative text analysis modules and things like that. So there we assume that you know some statistics and programming and can skip those courses and go straight to the more social science part. But if you come from a social science degree, which is probably the majority of the students, then we are going to teach you statistics in R and Python, and we don't assume any sort of prior knowledge. So there we will really start from scratch. You will be surprised within a few modules how much you can do actually. So, with some basic R programming or some basic Python programming, you open up access to all kinds of libraries, programming libraries that are out there. So for machine learning or data analysis, whatever, there are lots of tools available in Python and R that are relatively accessible as soon as you know a little bit of the basics of, how do I begin if I open R, how do I begin if I open Python? But that part we will teach you. So no prior technical skills required.
All right, excellent. And what about economics and data science? So Ben, do they require some knowledge?
We have some knowledge requirement, which is that we require students to have some quantitative background, as in they need to have had some statistics courses in their undergrad. The reason being that we sent them into graduate level economics and statistics courses, and for both that's simply a requirement. But these are not the most stringent requirements the world has seen. So as long as people have done one or maybe two undergraduate modules that have to do with statistics or that are in statistics, that's all we require really. Besides that, what our approach is slightly different to the politics and data science module or course. What we do is we have in the first term a curriculum of 6 modules, each 5 credits, that all students take. And these are basic economics modules, these are basic econometrics modules, and basic data analytics modules, so as to get everyone to the same base. Now, what we see is that those students who come with a programming background, they obviously ace the data analytics basic modules, but they all learn something new, or there are some aspects that they may not have learned, and they specialize more or spend more time on the economics modules. And we see the opposite of those students who've done an economics single honors or something undergraduate. They actually have a lot more to learn in data analytics, but we bring them through the same curriculum in one term. The gist is the same as what you said. It's astounding what students can learn within 3 months. So by Christmas, they are all able to program well in R. They have a good knowledge of statistics and of basic economic tools, and then we can send them off to choose whichever modules they like, and we have lots of modules on offer.
Oh, excellent. And we heard from Sohini also, like she mentioned that, she is from computer science background, so she's skipping those modules and she'll be focusing more on her core modules, which is political science. So this is how you can also do. You don't need to do any courses, but if you're planning and if you want, that's totally up to you. Otherwise, we do not require. We will cover that in our curriculum. We covered about career fairs. So, like UCD is very well known for its career support. And if we talk about our employability ranking, UCD has been ranked number 1 from last 5 consecutive years in graduate employability. So, when we talk about graduate employability, we are talking about our industry collaborations, what kind of industry partnerships we have, and we give our students a chance to connect with the potential employers through these career fairs. So, like Sohini, you mentioned that you have attended few career fairs also, and students, you recommend students also that they should participate in that. Can you talk a little bit more about your experience and how was the career fair? And in India also we have those job fairs. So how is it different?
Sure. So, at UCD, I think I've attended 2 career fairs so far. One was on campus in the O'Reilly Hall, and the other one was a Women in STEM career fair where we went to RDS, which is one of the exam centers for UCD. To attend the career fair, and it was both experiences were pretty interesting. We had a couple of speakers talk during the day about what it's like working for companies like Bearing Point, which is a consulting technological consulting firm, and we had like gaming companies there, uh, Bank of Ireland, like I mentioned. So the kind of companies that come to these career fairs are pretty varied. It's not just tech companies or just like consulting firms. There are a lot of career fairs for other um, schools as well. And I mostly went there with no plan, honestly, because I really didn't want to, like personally, I didn't want to go into like the job hunting panic this year. I wanted to take it a little bit lightly. So, yeah, I just went there to just talk to the representatives from those companies who are there and just have a conversation with them about what it's like working there. A lot of the people that you might find at these fairs are um, past students who've been a part of the graduate programs for those companies. So I think what is important is you can really have a conversation with them about what their experiences are like and how they got into the graduate program and how they've found it so far. And you'll be pleasantly surprised to find people in technical roles with extremely non-technical uh, degrees, which was very interesting to me because what it showed to me is that the graduate programs at these organizations allow you to continue building on the skills that you learn during your master's program, and it allows you to further direct your career into whichever avenue that you want. So they give you the opportunity to pursue like very core technical skills if you want to go down the data science, data analytics route. um, Also, on the other hand, you can go down the business route, where you leverage your data analytics skills, but just focus more on like business and growth and uh, product ownership, which is also like a role in some of these companies that you can explore. Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. So yes, UCD arranges career fairs. So like you've joined in September and you said that two career fairs you've already attended. So you can see by the time she'll be through with her course, how many career fairs she would have attended. So, so we focus a lot. Although, like I see few questions on placements. So, see, internationally, there is no word called as placement. Nobody can guarantee you a job till the time you have those skills, and that's the reason I'm again reiterating what Sohini said, that, you have to network with the right people. You have to make your connections. And if you have those connections, you will get the job. But yes, we never guarantee you job. Okay, but we will give you numerous opportunities to connect with the employers. And if you have those skills, you will definitely get the jobs. So, yours now, you are head of the School of Politics and International Relations also. So basically, from the school perspective, I see that a lot of career fairs are arranged. So basically, what kind of companies are invited, and what are the timelines usually? Like, how many career fairs are arranged every year?
Oh, the school does not actually have career fairs. Those are organized by UCD, the ones that Sohina has been attending. We do have some alumni events where we ask former students of us who are now already for a while in the job market. They come in, or they do a Zoom session, and they talk a little bit about their experiences, and what really helped in their degree, and like how to make choices in terms of modules, for example, in your degree that will help in your future career, or how to go about profiling yourself, promoting yourself once you have your degree. So we organize a few of those a year, not too often, but maybe two or three. And I think the other thing that we do have, like, it's a relatively new program, but probably partly because students in this kind of field are more used to things like Slack and these kind of chat groups, and you also do the group projects. So there's quite a strong, I think Sohini can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think there's quite a good group spirit in the program, which means that people really build a bit of a network,
Definitely,
and
yeah.
that also easily connects them to the next generation. So you get a network of graduates from politics and data science that can help you also in your career.
Want to add something?
Yeah, so one thing we've also been doing and are planning a lot more is that we work jointly with all the data focused programs in UCD and do events with companies. So for example, last June we had a very successful online event with LinkedIn. And the good thing is from our perspective, the likes of Yos and myself, we can approach a company, and when we say we have 100 or so students all working on data science and social science, their eyes light up and they happily collaborate. So we managed, for example, to get Joe Jamal, who's the director of strategy internationally for LinkedIn, to come and talk to our students online. We are now having in February an event where three representatives from Google, but also people who work in management in Google here in various disciplines or branches in Dublin, who come and talk to our students. And we have similar events planned with Meta and again with LinkedIn here in and also with public sector organizations. So there is a lot happening also across different disciplines where we team up and really try to bring our students together with the different employers and give them an impression of what it's like to work in different companies and institutions.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. My next question is again to you. It is seen that most of the programs, they give you an opportunity to connect in the industry through some projects. So if you can talk about, are there any projects in economics where the students, they get chance to connect with industry, or in-house projects? What kind of projects do they get?
Sure. So the way we've designed the program is such that if students choose to do an internship, which is 1/3 of the program, it's a 3-month internship, then typically what they do is they enter a company and they do some sort of project there. What we see, because students have to afterwards write a report and show us what they've done. And a lot of them, we would only allow them to do internships if they work on a well-defined job or project. So a lot of them do, a data analytics project within a pharmaceutical company. That's something we've seen recently, or within tech firms or such. If they do a thesis, they get an academic advisor. We obviously encourage them to use economic data, but at the same time, this is more than that this is a piece of academic work first and foremost that they can use in their portfolio. So students in essence are given the choice: do they want to have more of a project in industry or related to industry when they take an internship, or do they want to go down more the academic route and build their portfolio through academic supervision and the supervised thesis?
Great. All right. Thank you so much, Ben. And students, I want to inform you that our applications for September 2024 are open. And this is the right time to make your applications and apply. So these courses, they are very competitive. From India, we do look at which university you're coming from, what your scores are, and we do accept 3 years degrees also. For these programs. So basically, to apply for an economics program, we would recommend you to be from the economics background only. Okay, so for the rest of the programs, for example, political science and data science, we will take students from social science backgrounds. So, you have to prepare your application. We will need your semester wise mark sheet along with two letter of recommendation, your statement of purpose, and your CV. So connect with SIUK. They will help you create that application and you can apply. Further, I have received few questions regarding scholarship. So yes, scholarship is always the most asked question of the students in any webinar. So we do provide scholarship, and UCD offers only merit-based scholarships. So there are no need-based scholarships that we offer. So basically, for these programs, when you apply, we see if you qualify into our programs, we will give you an offer letter which will have some scholarship that will be mentioned on your offer letter itself. You do not have to apply for it separately. We have competitive scholarship also, which is our global excellence. So once you have received an offer letter, if you go on your student portal, you will have to create another application for scholarship for global excellence, where student can get up to 100% and 50% scholarship. So you can compete for it. The deadline to apply that scholarship is 28th of February for the postgrads and 31st of March for the undergrad. And to apply for that scholarship, definitely you should have an offer. So if you've not applied so far, this is the right time to make an application, apply, so that we assess, because we also take 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks to process your application and give you a decision. And then you will get good amount of time to prepare your application for scholarship and then apply. Okay, we do not have any January intake. We have only one intake, which is our September intake. So please apply for that. And rest, we have a question which is, after completing these courses, can students successfully enter IT industry or secure IT roles? Or what prospects do I have in the IT sector? So maybe yours, if you can answer, do they have prospects in IT sector?
I think so, but the IT sector, that's a bit of a broad phrase, of course. So it's not a computer science degree, right? So we will give some basic R, some basic Python, some basic coding skills, some basic data analytics skills. It doesn't mean that you suddenly are equivalent to somebody who has been studying computer science for 4 years. So in that sense, the really hardcore IT jobs, software developer, etc., that you don't typically do with this degree unless your undergrad is already in computer science. But the IT sector is a big sector. Like companies like Google, like Facebook, whatever, they like think about what they do. They have lots of users online that are behaving in different ways online. They're chatting online, they interact, they buy things, they do things. That is human behavior. That is social science, if you want to understand what they're doing there. And when they do all that, they generate lots of data. And if you want to analyze that, that's data science, right? So in this IT sector, in companies like these social media companies in Ireland, a lot of what you're doing is data analysis to understand human behavior. That is what we teach in this program as well. So yes, IT sector, yes, but not something like you're now going to be the system administrator or the software developer. That's something else.
Yeah, so semi-technical roles they can still get, like you said, social media or maybe in the e-commerce industry where you have to understand the customer behavior. So you use some of your technical skills, and along with that, you understand what the customer behavior is in a particular area, and you provide your reports. So yes, there will be some opportunities for you, but not as a software engineer or a programmer, but yes, semi-technical.
And I think
Um,
quite often, I
and
think you also play this more like translation role, right? So you might have a friend of mine works for a technical company. He's an historian, but he works for a very technical company because the engineers, they can do all this fancy stuff, but they don't really know how to explain it to the rest of the world. So he is this like conduct. And I think you can imagine that the same here, right? So you can also translate a bit and help these very technical teams work in a very technical team, but help translate what they're doing to the user or to the client.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And my last question is for Sohini. So Sohini, like when it comes to international education, sometime students, they are scared that how will I cope up with the new environment? What will be the assignments like? Because we are used to those lengthy exams here in India.
Yep,
So how did you find the education, and how easy was for you to gel into the new education system?
sure. Um, I found it pretty great so far. I think the Indian education system is very rigorous, and what that does is it prepares you very well for anything, honestly, from an academic perspective. I think my main struggle so far has been writing an essay because, again, from a technical background, I haven't really written an essay in like 7 years. But they have really good resources on campus that with like PhD students who can help you figure out how to structure an essay, how to um, like just uh, process your thoughts in a structured manner and present your ideas very well. So that's been my only struggle so far. But I definitely think that you will be able to uh, cope, if not thrive. And yeah, I think as long as you're willing to ask for help, you will be fine because there are so many ways in which you can um, seek assistance on campus, whether that is with student advisors or with the writing center. They also have a mathematics center if you're struggling with like math problems. And you can always go to like your program directors, your module coordinators. So everyone is very open and willing to help, um, as long as you ask for it, of course. So don't be shy is the gist of it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Sohini. And as Ben and yours, you both teach. So just like in India, like it is difficult to approach our professors. You have to follow a proper path to reach them. So can you talk a little bit about your connection with the students and how easy is for the students to come and speak to you, and what kind of relationship a teacher and a student has in UCD? Yeah, Ben, maybe you
Do you want me
start.
to go first? Yes. So the first thing to note is that in most of our master's modules, the groups aren't all that big, so that you're typically in a classroom with 20, 30, maximum 40 others, which to some people sounds like a big class, but it also means you get a lot of time actually with your professor, because you do a lot of group work where you then discuss your projects with your professor, before or after class or during office hours. And so it's different from what you're used to in undergrad, where you're in a big lecture hall and there is this one person standing in front, and you have to take binoculars to actually see the person. It's not like that at all. A master's is a lot more collaborative between the students and the professors, and so there's plenty of interactions with us. And we are generally, that's I think what UCD's culture is, very, very approachable, and so students shouldn't feel shy, and we also ask them really to come and see us and talk to us and discuss on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think it's similar for us. So the module I teach is a programming module, and most of the work is, you're sitting in small groups in the classroom working on your project, and I'm just walking around. So it makes it a very, very casual, very informal, very interactive way of teaching. So that is, exactly as Ben described. But then there's also this connected politics project, where as a group you get a supervisor, and you're meeting quite regularly and talking about the project. You really build a bit of a connection, I think, between with the lecturer that supervises the project more than in normal classes. And I think the other thing to say is that as university academics, we always combine research and teaching. But most of our students, they just want to learn about politics. They are interested in the teaching part, not in the research part. But the students that come to this degree, or these two degrees, they are very research oriented. This is why you come to university, right? That's why you do a data science degree. You want to learn how to analyze data and how to do projects. So for us as academics, this is a very exciting group of students, because you care about research, which is exactly what we care about. And that means that you get very good academic support, I think, because there's a very enthusiastic team of academics around those programs, and I think you will really notice that. Maybe we have to ask Serena if it's true, but I think it's true.
Yeah, thank you so
No,
much,
definitely.
Yoss. Yeah, and thank you so much, all the students, for joining us today. And I think the time is running short. I have just put in a few social media handles where you can follow us. We are very active on that, and we share a lot of information. And like I mentioned, that our applications are open for 2024 intake. So please do not waste any more time and make application. I tried covering all the questions. In case your question was not answered, please feel free to connect on these numbers. These are India numbers, and plus this email ID. So we'll be very happy to connect with you and answer your questions. So thank you so much once again, all the panel, for your valuable time. You've been very informative, and I'm 100% sure that the students would have found this webinar interesting. And thank you so much, students, for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking out time and giving us this insightful presentation and for answering all the questions so well. Thank you so much, everyone, for your valuable time. All the audience, if you have any further question, please feel free to contact SIUK India office. For more update, do follow us on our social media handles. Bye bye. Take care.
Right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you
Bye,
so
everyone.
much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.